Hi, I'm Susie Courtright with Remax Properties of the Summit in Breckenridge, Colorado. As you all know, I specialize in providing real estate guidance that is highly data-driven and education-oriented. Especially now, I am spending a great deal of time reading, attending webinars, and researching the climate and forecasts in real estate and its attendant industries. My goal always is to equip you as well as possible to make the decisions that are right for you. Now, much of my guidance will be tailored to your individual situation and the Summit County market segment that you're most interested in. But with that in mind, it is my pleasure to share with you the most recent Summit County, Colorado real estate statistics for April of 2020. Please know that each of the graphics and charts that I show here are going to be available on my website, susiecourtright.com, under the How's the Market tab. Each shows quite a lot of information, so feel free to visit my site if you want to examine them in detail. To start us off, in the first 4 months of 2020, compared to that same time period in 2019, Summit County residential real estate sales are down 17%. The average sold price is up just slightly at 0.7%. It's taking an average of 71 days to sell a property, and the average property is selling at 98% of the last list price. So there's still not a lot of negotiation room on the average real estate transaction today. Single-family homes are selling at an average price of just over $1,330,000, and condominiums are selling at an average price of just over $500,000 countywide. When we look at the activity in my office, Remax Properties of the Summit, April showings were down 82%. Now that sounds like an alarming number until you take into account that the state of Colorado shut down property showings during the month of April due to COVID-19, starting them up again in late April. Now with this in mind, it's actually, I feel somewhat reassuring to realize that real estate activity didn't cease altogether, even when realtors were prohibited from entering properties. Now during this time, showings were done virtually using videos and 3D virtual tours, using those a lot today as well. When we're looking at just April, sales across Summit County dropped 47%. April's average sold price came down by 7% when comparing it to April of 2019. And the average percent of list price to sold price remained very strong at 98.5%. Now keep in mind that many of the properties that closed in April were put under contract somewhere from late February into March in the first part of April, depending on whether they involved loans or were quicker cash transactions. And others were new construction properties that were put under contract months ago before the construction was completed. So what is under contract in Summit County today? Under contract activity, again, dropped substantially in April. Again, most real estate activity was conducted virtually during that time. The first few days of May had almost the same amount of under contract activity as the entire month of April. And this, again, is due to the COVID-19 restrictions placed on real estate agents. New construction continues to be a vital segment of our market. A full 70% of the properties that are currently pending, in other words, under contract, are new construction. The remaining 30% are sales of existing properties. Now, of the new construction that is under contract, some will close over the next several months, but most will close further on into the future. And new construction is unique in that a property is put under contract at some phase of the development, and then the closing actually occurs after the final certificate of occupancy is granted. So properties can be under contract for many months. And this explains in part why such a large portion of our market, of our under contract activity that we're showing is actually new construction. New construction properties are counted in that pool of pending properties for many months, when resale properties are counted as pending properties only for the 14 to 60 days between the signing of the contract and the closing date. Now, new construction is very popular among today's Summit County buyers. Most of the projects in our market are quite well priced, and we really have some beautiful new, highly walkable buildings in stunning architectural designs. So let me know if you'd like to have a Zoom meeting to look at some of those or anything else for that matter. There's still quite a lot available. You can browse all of the Summit County new construction on my website, of course. Now here's an interesting chart on the active listings in Summit County. It appears we could be on track to have a couple hundred more available properties for our buyers to choose from in the county by mid to late August of this year, as compared to last year. So far in May, the county has had a net gain of 20 active residential listings. This new inventory's likely effect on the market and on pricing is something that we can discuss one-on-one, as it's going to vary by market segment. As we have seen, showings at Remax Properties of the Summit dropped off in April due to COVID-19, but they picked up again in May as we were once again allowed to show a property with restrictions and health precautions, of course. The first 10 days of May had almost twice as many showings as April. And this is interesting, more showings than the same period in May of 2019. Still, at this time, travel continues to be restricted. and Colorado's Safer at Home order discourages our Front Range buyers from traveling up to the mountains. We will continue to see more activity as our state continues to open up. Now, unlike much of the rest of the country, the spring is our slow time naturally in Summit County real estate. And we are participating that we will have a busy summer as people are excited to leave their homes and cities for our fresh Colorado mountain air. It is still too early to know for sure what effect COVID-19 and the state of the economy will have on our real estate market as we venture further into that typically busy summer selling season. I just attended a Zoom webinar with Dr. Ted Jones. He's the Chief Economist and Senior Vice President of Stewart Title, and he provided an economic outlook for Colorado mountain towns specifically. And Dr. Jones predicts a short but very deep recession, but his overall tone was optimistic. We know that everyone is affected in different ways by this. Now, certainly we need to keep in mind that when people can't come to the mountains, they can't stay in those short-term rental properties and generate the type of income that many of our owners rely on. There are many variables here, depending on your lifestyle and your financial goals going forward. The very best thing to do is to stay educated, to start talking to a knowledgeable local realtor, and to watch the market together. To that end, I have seen a few challenges come up on the lending side of things that are important to be aware of. First, interest rates. In mid-March, as states were announcing their lockdowns, we were seeing significant fluctuations in mortgage rates. Now, many buyers were looking at the federal funds rate and expecting extremely low rates on their second homes and their investment properties. For a time, these rates were downright volatile. But now, in mid-May, I am happy to say that conventional lending is normalizing. Interest rates are expected to be low for some time. It is important to note, especially in our market, that non-conventional lending is expected to be in a state of flux for some time, and this includes jumbo loans. Jumbo loans on investment properties in the short term may have higher down payment requirements and rates that are frankly less attractive. So if you will be needing a jumbo loan for a second home or an investment property in the short term, please let me know. I will put you in touch with a couple of professionals who can help you navigate this new environment. Now for the second lending consideration, mortgage forbearance. I have also been encouraged by the lenders we work with to help buyers understand potential issues with mortgage forbearance, especially in our second home and our investment market. You may have heard that if you take advantage of a forbearance, you can choose to not pay your mortgage and it won't damage your credit. However, it is important to understand that it could make it more difficult for you to get another mortgage later. If you're in a situation where you can't pay your mortgage and you truly need to use forbearance, then do so. But you don't want to do it simply to save that money for something else, as there could be repercussions. I just heard of a real estate transaction falling out of contract because the highly qualified buyer took advantage of the forbearance opportunity on his primary home. And the lender helping him with his second home purchase saw that he had missed a payment on his mortgage. And that made it so the lender could no longer qualify him for his new loan on his second home for 12 months from the date of that missed payment. So he lost the house he had under contract. He didn't need that financial help. He had simply felt like he was giving himself, a cushion. So on mortgage forbearance, use it if you need it, but don't use it if you don't need it. Now, as with everything, make sure you are reading all of the details and that you understand the potential consequences of using mortgage forbearance. So what's the outlook for Summit County real estate? We have an interesting market in Summit County. We have a great deal of our local workforce in the travel and hospitality sector, and we have a number of our out-of-state buyers and property owners in the oil and gas industry. Further, we differ from a primary home market in a variety of ways. For example, many of our property owners are in a position where they can actually wait until the environment is favorable to them. Here, many of our buyers don't need to buy, and many sellers don't need to sell according to any specific timeline. And there are several, other factors that bode well for our real estate. First, Summit County has low and limited supply of property, due in part to the fact that 80% of our land is public land, creating a scarcity of building and development opportunities. In addition, we are approaching build out in many areas, further tightening our supply. Summit County features some of the most visited ski resorts in North America, within a 2-hour drive of a booming metropolitan area. This creates a continuing high demand for both ski condo purchases and ski condo rentals. Throughout all of this, the world of the future, after all of us have gotten more accustomed to conducting our meetings via Zoom and WebEx, could very well be more location neutral, with more people given the flexibility to work from home or from their second home in the Colorado Rockies. And in the past couple of weeks, I am seeing a renewed interest in real estate in our fair mountain towns. Traffic to my website is up. People who have been talking about purchasing a second home for years are getting more and more serious. The sentiment among these buyers is that life is indeed short, and that life enjoyed with family and friends in the snow globe of Summit County seems more enticing than ever. One thing I am sure of, Summit County provides much of what we are all longing for and searching for right now: a cocoon from a crazy world, a solid and caring community to take refuge in, and a lifestyle that makes a stay-at-home order as pleasant as it can possibly be, especially since owners can still access the area trails. So these are the reasons that we are so optimistic about the long-term lifestyle investment that Summit County offers, no matter what we are enduring together in the short term. Now, if you are considering buying or selling Breckenridge or Summit County real estate and you're wondering about COVID-19's effect on real estate, the best thing you can do, watch the market carefully, start talking to an educated and informed real estate agent, make sure you're subscribed to my newsletters, read the other articles on my blog. As you get ready to talk more seriously about particular properties, shoot me an email, give me a call. I can help you to know what to expect as the situation unfolds. You know, the landscape really is changing on a daily and weekly basis. Furthermore, each segment of our Summit County real estate market tells a slightly different story, carries a different level of risk and reward, and I'm more than happy to help you navigate that. To discuss this with you on an individual level, please feel free to reach out to me anytime.